Well, Liquid, they hit back and they hit back hard in a very dominant fashion on Abyss. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I got Kukuka and Billy with me here once again. That was a very, very, very quick map, and probably what you would want if you're Team Liquid, right? To hit back that hard and to prove that maybe they could take the series.
Yeah, exactly. And do not forget, that was KOI's map pick. So we were kind of expecting some kind of more confidence coming from this side, but actually the confidence was coming all from the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, which is the complete opposite from what we've seen in the first map, right? We've seen KOI so confident, and then coming into this one, it's like there was no stop in Team Liquid. It was just round after round after round. So yeah, really impressed with that performance on Abyss.
Yeah, and when they did have the advantage for KOI even, they just somehow threw it away. It felt very, very messy at times. And Billy, maybe they just weren't on the same page if we take a look at this round.
Yeah, round 9 in particular. I mean, you see Team Liquid getting so extra aggressive, and I think the run before that, round 8, you've seen Camo going for extra peaks up into heaven and almost throwing the round here. So yeah, Team Liquid's just oozing confidence.
I think that the problem with this is that you see yourself in this situation, right, in the 4v2, and as we were saying, it is not the first time that we saw it during this matchup. This is when the nerfs get to you, and instead of having a Team Liquid that saw themselves as the losers, we saw a Team Liquid leaded by not only the calls from Nats, but also a Kiko that is having an insane controller arc. Like, the performance that he was having on Omen was on a different level. And I think that everybody was just like boosting each other's ego, being like, you got this, you got this. And they remained calm and hit all the shots. And KOI was just on the receiving end for the entire map.
Yeah, and Patty, when he started spraying that body on round 3, I felt like, you know,
knew?
Yeah, set the tone for the rest of the map. And he had a great performance as well. But this is the thing, though. He doesn't have to change a lot. This is his bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. It's Patty in the KO. Come on, last year we saw so much of this. This was one of the main reasons why we wanted to see him within a team. We saw also on the replays and how animated he was after every single round. His flashes on the executes we're seeing here time after time were so effective. The first wave and the second wave, the way that he divided the map and got everything that they needed for the team. Yeah, that's the Patty that we know and love.
Yeah, I think from Patty, I have to completely agree with you, Bea. Is the supportive utility coming out from him was just incredible. He was able to bail his teammates out in moments of disaster if it ever got to that point as well. So yeah, really impressed with Patitek's performance.
Yeah, and people, you know, they love him for being that vibes merchant as well. I mean, it was hard not to be a vibes merchant on Heretics. I feel like you go there to get good on the vibes, and then you leave, you know, with that with you. And you can tell when they were talking to each other, they were hyping each other up. And as we head into Bind, let's take a look at this Duelist head-to-head, because we didn't get one on Fracture. Yeah. They decided not to play Duelist at all, which to me seems crazy given the talent on their team. I know the stats isn't necessarily in Camo's favor, but his impact cannot be understated.
Exactly. I think that we're showing the numbers for people to understand that even though Camo was winning on this match, he wasn't having the greatest numbers, but he was doing what he was supposed to do. Putting the pressure in, going in first, following up with alongside the plan. Yes, Filu again, round number 3, getting the AWP, trying to get the openers, or at least have some pressure onto them, was a clear plan for Movistar KOI. But as we're saying, even though the numbers do not reflect it, the performance from Camo against his former team was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think for me, from Philo, I'm really happy with how he played in the first and second map. Granted, it didn't go KOI's way in this one. I think as well, when I think of Philo as a new addition to this team, VCL MENA is not really like a region that usually these VCL players are scouted from as such. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on Philo going into this next one.
Yeah, and the fact that we had VAC yesterday as well, you know, Aves, so on and so forth. We do love a representation here. But going on to Bind, so far, there's been a couple of players that have really done exactly what we thought they were going to do. You know, Paddy playing the agents he has, Nats just being on that Cypher. Will we see the Viper on Bind? We didn't see it yesterday. Yeah. Minnie was really upset about it, but surely Nats is going to play Viper on Bind. Yeah,
it will make a lot of sense. And I think that especially with this first 2 maps, one of the takeaways that we could take is that he's going to stick to that role and just focus on the IGL and nurturing of the rest of the team, which makes a lot of sense. We cannot be mad at that for him. But what happens on the other side? Are we going to see the KOI that is playing the Tejo, maybe bringing in some of the compositions that, as you were saying, Sue, we saw yesterday, or are we going for something more standard?
Yeah, I think given that we've seen that double sentinel from them on the first map, I'd like to perhaps see that again. I do. It's whether or not Soulcast sways towards that deadlock or that Vise for me.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even hate the Sage here necessarily.
He's back.
Honestly,
he's on Viper.
He's back. But also, like, Nats, thank you so much for being, like, the most predictable person here in terms of your agent pool. I love
But it
that.
makes
Never change.
sense.
Never change. I agree. Never change. But we will get a Shados going back as well, and Grabini on the Astro once again.
Yeah, and we see, again, the potential for the combos. Flau is going to be on the KO. Double controller, double initiator for the side of Movistar. There's a lot of damage. We saw it yesterday, especially for them. After the performance that they had, how individually they were not matching up against Team Liquid. This first half is the most important of the year.
Yeah, I think for me, like these two compositions, looking at them, the double controller on each side, no one's trying to reinvent the wheel, which I like. Everyone's kind of just gone back to what those comfort picks are.
They have indeed. I mean, I do hope that this is going to be comfortable for one of these teams. You can only have one winner, and let's just throw this back to Mitch and Tom and find out who is going to be moving on in the upper bracket.
Upper bracket life on the line. Day 2 of EMEA. Game 1 about to come to a close. Here on Bind, Tom, any favorites? Team Liquid coming hot off the back of a 13-3 victory. You have to think they'll be able to keep that fire alive coming into Bind.
Yeah, I think I would favor them slightly. I think Camo being still on Duelist, I guess, after the last map, you could see how a lot of their takes were centralized around him having space, which he wasn't able to do on the first map, and I think you could see it was night and day. I am intrigued by what's being run on the other side. I think especially on the attack from Movistar KOI, Shados' utility is going to be just fantastic. Like, there's so many really tight angles that getting out of is very, very difficult. Like, you think, even, maybe they watched the promo video for Teo when he came out, you can use it in hookah. That's a great idea. Thanks, devs. That's what he's been watching.
That's it. Yeah,
there are other positions that work. Lamps as well, I think.
Where good teams get all their strats. Big play, crunch through the TP, but it has not worked out for Team Liquid. And Patitek, he's got a safe spot.
He'll survive.
He's good. Most of his HP intact. In they come, and he's safe as can be. All right, well, still gonna be difficult to get value out of this position. He has still got 2 flashes, but his teammates are the ones trying to work the map to make this possible. And Nats coming up behind someone. You wouldn't guess it, it's Solkis to win the fight. He's outdone Nats in the flank game. Patitek caught reloading, will be dropped. Kiko, though, comes in to try and close this out. Everybody's low. 1 bullet needed for everyone, including Solkis, 10 HP. And a rough idea of where he's coming from, but Solkis may have already went to the A site. Kiko has to have eyes in the back of his head as around the corner comes Solkis! Saved at the final hour by a sliver of HP, by the fact that he was able to defeat Nats. And on a flank, the Spidey senses got them across the line. What a round.
It gives me flashbacks to Solkis sneaking up on someone and turning around.
Yeah.
He's finally had redemption. It's finally happened.
The karma.
But no, that's the thing, Kiko. That round shouldn't have even been close. Like, the fact that he's able to get so much out of it, it comes down to a player on 10 HP is just, it must be upsetting. He's looked so good individually over the last couple of maps, playing that new role of controller. The question now is, can they do any real damage in this round? He's got another Sheriff. I don't mind that at all.
Still, like, Solkis was on that roster for so long that when I say Solkis won the round and I see the round go up for not Liquid, sometimes my brain goes, no, you messed up, bro. Restart that sentence. But yeah, Movistar KOI, round to the good. A site is their target. Spidey senses again paying off as somehow they've made the perfect read. This site is wide open for the taking. The danger is Team Liquid have adapted very quickly to those rotations in the other direction. They've already got players coming in on the flank. They've already got control over spawn, so they know that Movistar KOI are kind of kept in a bubble right now. They can only be in so many places, and Team Liquid know exactly where those spots are.
Buddy system being brought into effect as well. There was a couple of points of potential isolation. Maybe there still is now. I think it's such a late flank that it is going to be expected. I thought maybe Grabini would be caught off guard, but everybody's slowly being picked apart and leaving just Kamek with, well, nothing to play with. I don't think he's going to be using any of his utility at this stage. It would be a waste of credits to do so. And we'll just look to try and die to the spike. So this is going to be a squeaky clean round coming in for Movistar KOI. And the fact is, they went for a Vandal and 4 Bulldogs. So you look at those scenarios and go, okay, you actually need to have everyone alive for this to be a money-making round. And they did.
They made it work. A lot of dangers, like we saw, but I think we can really commend Movistar KOI for their patience and not overextending into so many of those angles. When you take the site for free like that, often you're going to look for just that little bit more. Just that one guy spotting into spawn. Just double check they haven't come up behind B, and if they gave those opportunities, maybe Team Liquid would have been able to convert, but at least a couple of kills, at least a bit of damage. Now 2-0 start. Economy, very strong for the attacking side. And in terms of what they're fighting with, I mean, a Bulldog versus a Vandal Phantom fight, it's a disadvantage, but could be a whole lot worse in round 3.
A lot of expectations on the guided server that a lot of the time you'll be using it very early in the round, but it seems like Shados is willing to hold it that little bit longer. Of course, a lot of angles you can clear within this site. Potential to clear any close positions. That's exactly what he's done, but instead, Patitek goes peeking. It's only going to be the trade. In fact, Flyer has doubled up. He's made things that little bit more awkward, and they're now looking to switch positions. The problem, though, is that the majority are actually within this A site. One of them, in fact, both of them are going to be revealed. And now you question, okay, do they slow it down again? No. They want to fight into this, leaving Camo as the last man standing, and he's done very well. It looked a little bit labored of Leon, but instead he takes over. What a round from Camo, and finally, the beast from East is awake.
Well, that was a little bit ridiculous. You think all he has to do is buy some more time, thin the herd a little bit. But my goodness, taking that round to pasture, what a gorgeous play from this man. I can't wait to see this in the replay. Nothing but headshots in the first, a little labored, but my goodness, then it's clean, a killing machine. 2 headshots, 2 body, and 2-1 now on the board as a result. Team Liquid not going to let this one slip away. It was looking good for a lights out start for Movistar KOI. Instead, competition yet again. Still though, we'll look at that last one and say there were weaknesses. There were Bulldogs in play. Now it's full rifles in the form of Vandals for the Movistar KOI side, and another slow start, same as we saw before. Shados not looking to burn up that guided salvo early, instead getting in position, then clearing those vital corners to hopefully get some players out in the open. Fortunately, it doesn't work out this time.
Again, though, you can just see that cooldown already in effect. It's 25 seconds away from having it back online. They could still even wait to have it back for the take. It really does feel like it comes back just a little bit too quickly for my liking, but I have to see. Yeah, already. We're down to just 10 seconds. There'll still be 40 on the clock. For now, he's just going to use that drone. If he can pop it quick enough, maybe he can reveal some players. Instead, though, it's actually Filu going down through the smoke.
That's unfortunate. And the value that Shados had, you get up B long later on in the round, you get into B site, you have stealth drone to go through and clear close corners, getting a lot of utility, oppressive utility that's pushing Team Liquid back, but now, after losing out on Filu, you're missing those flashes to really break through the smokes. You're missing that player to blast pack in and claim the space on the back of that utility from Shados. There is just nothing to do. The correct call is made, and it may look strange with so much time left on the clock, but just where the economy's at with Team Liquid's round previously, this is somewhere that Movistar KOI are making the correct decision. We messed up early, let's reset and fight back into the next one. For Team Liquid, though, huge boost to their economy with 5 players alive.
Yeah, and they're not even having to rebuy a lot of the utility as well. There's pieces like blast packs and stuff like that. All of that just comes back into the economy later in the game. Also, ultimates. Orbital Strike close. Camo with his 4K is obviously not too far away from having the showstopper. But the same can be said on the other side. I'm looking at Filu and Flyer as the likely candidates to have their ultimates online for this round. And I think that's another talking point when it comes to Teo is that Armageddon, again, if you watch the promo video, can be very good for clearing that backside position, making that tube a spot that you just can't hide in. For now, though, showstopper is what they're going for. It will be online for Filu.
Already hearing that boombot as well. You'd imagine sitting on that side as Nats, you're going to start to get a little bit scared about what is likely on its way. I think a flash ready for Flya as well. It's going to come over top and give Filu the chance to close in the distance on some unsuspecting opponents. There's the shot, and it's landed. Kamek not quite able to round the corner in time. And a 5v4 as a result. Gecko utility out of the round. For that defensive side of Team Liquid, they need another hero to step up and find them some space. Flash gone deep, and it's looking like a move towards Bath. A fight straight into the hands of Shados, but he's given up the angle, given up the space for a moment. He will be the dagger in the back a little bit later on. As Flya falls, though, they're losing a lot of the control, a lot of the ability to deny this spike plant. Nade buys some time, but flank is perfect from Kiko. He'll land one, even getting onto Shados quite quickly, but still, that spike needs to be defused with 2 players sitting around and a star available at Gravwell just coming up online. Should be able to cancel. It's not quite going to stop it before half, though. They're trying to body block onto the spike. The time running low. Grabinho desperately trying to get here in time, but he won't be able to affect the outcome. A good attempt, but a better result for the side of Team Liquid.
I didn't catch it, but where did Flyer go down in that take? Because, yeah, that was it, the peak. I think that's just silly. He had his no command online in the post plant. Like, you are removing every single piece of utility for your opponent in the late stage of the round. Like, that's basically it done. They're not going to be able to smoke off any positions. I think even throwing out the Seekers potentially off the kill they got on Flyer. So it just means that ult would have been completely gone. So it really did just, I don't know, just a slight overpeak, or maybe just hoping they could get the round through without having to use it. But I feel like that was the round signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah. And instead, he's delivered it to his opponents.
I think you're spot on, Tom, because then you look at what Kiko's able to do later on, creep up into that same position, catch a player with their back turned, because you've got one less man. You don't have someone watching your back while that spike is being threatened. So really, that's just thinning out the herd a little bit too much of the remaining attackers, and opening up that space that Team Liquid quickly exploited. Now, Movistar KOI have called a timeout. It's coming to its end here. Let's hope they've managed to find one hell of a strategy, because this round here, it's a little bit shaky. In terms of the ultimates they're up against, Kiko and Camo both having theirs primed and ready to go. Orbital Strike and Showstopper, unless you're new to the game, you know are pretty scary ults to face off against. And for Movistar KOI, the economy is struggling. The ult economy, sure, it's almost there. Flya could have some serious impact with that ultimate. Shados as well might have Armageddon online. But I see Team Liquid with a huge advantage, and I see Movistar KOI with credits about to wane. Credits waning.
Yeah, well, they're kind of already there in this round. That's the problem with it. That's, again, it's why I'm just surprised that ultimate wasn't committed in the last round, but we'll see what Flyer has in terms of ideas of how to use it here. And yeah, if they're maybe going to fight for an orb to try and get Shados' ult online. Already a fairly aggressive clear of B long. They can make sure there's nobody close for the moment, but the problem is, with that utility gone, the Tiger going through, they almost kind of have to clear it again, because I don't know if anybody's walked into that position.
No command goes in. Mosh just before it buys a little bit of time. As Philo goes down, in go the rest of Movistar KOI, trying to take control of Hookah to help out on that site fight, but there is nothing to be done with an in-zone flawless from the side of Team Liquid. The lead extends.
I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but it really has impressed me how clean Kiko has been playing this role. Because, again, a lot of what he was set up to do in the past was sort of take space and be that pinnacle player. You'd have flashes, supportive utility from the likes of Enzo, Mystic, and the previous roster, Yumpy as well. And he was set up to succeed. In these cases, a lot of times, he's not. But he is, nonetheless. So we saw it on the Omen. Very clean with it in that round as well. And worryingly, as said, in the last couple of maps, statistically, Camo has not really been there. Right now he is, and it's starting to get more and more dangerous for Movistar KOI.
Oh, the flash, but it doesn't work out. It's Kamix instead that's landing all the damage, the quick double. The Camo stepping up to do just the same. And wow, before this round even begins, it is done. Solkas, 5 HP, sat back with a Guardian. Hell of a task on his shoulders. Nothing but headshots need to be delivered. Patitek slow at least, but the spike is down and they're all defending it. They've smoked him off. He's got no utility to work with. One away from Viper's Pit, but in best case scenario, that's going to bring them to the same position you're in.
I like that from Kiko. He's like, no, I've heard of this guy. I don't, no, you're not peeking. You're not peeking. I'm putting a smoke down. We're all going to sit back. I'm playing this one controlled, and if he hits this shot, I feel very impressed. Nice round from Kamik. A 5th on the board now. So you got the Polish support in the crowd for us. I'm sure he's very happy. I've seen that sort of his agency has got a lot of players in the league this season, and a lot of them have been performing incredibly well. So he must be having a great time out there in the crowd at the moment. Although I have seen him wearing a few different jerseys, so I'd like to know where his allegiances actually are.
I'll have to get him for an interview. Put him on the spot. Well, the good thing is Solkas might not have used that Viper's Pit last round, but it means it's online for this immediate stealth drone put out by Shados. And it's spotted one. Already caught. Salvo going out, although it's going to be a little late. It's gone deeper to push these players back on the deeper side around Triple Box, but Nats able to deliver that shot. Showstopper stalls out any push from Movistar KOI. And again, they have this idea for early aggression, the punishment immediate, and the utility to stop any space taking on the back of it.
Yeah, and so far Nats has been sort of crushed throughout the majority of this match. He's been having a really rough time, maybe having to micromanage a little bit more or just deal with adaptations of coming up against an agent that hasn't been in the game long at all. But even under pressure in that round, he's succeeded. And again, having to fight without Filu becomes so difficult. You just don't have that space-taking agent anymore. You almost have to rely on maybe a mistake or a successful piece of utility to give you an advantage here. And already straight in goes the Thrash. And it's going to be Kiko lands a shot before it even goes through.
30 seconds left.
Every time they try something, just hit by this force, not just from the players and the bullets exiting their gun, but it's also the fact that you just have this consistent assault of utility on every position that they show face in. There's no safe haven, except for their own spawn, where they've gone hightailing it towards at 6-2 down. Not really much of a pulse in some of these rounds. We're going to need to see a solution soon. And Tom, I wouldn't be surprised if, even coming out of this one, if we see Movistar KOI take a pause. They have a lot of ults, they've got rifles, but their economy is being saved over to allow another buy. This is a really important round to make sure that Team Liquid don't run away with this. And keep in mind, that lower bracket, that's where you're going to be heading if things don't go according to plan. It's not going to be easy down there.
No, for sure, especially as you're kind of, to work out who you're playing also becomes a little bit difficult because you're going, okay, well, I haven't seen the team from last year who was good play against the team who maybe we lost to. So I now have to predict if they'll lose to the team I think will be better, or if the team that should on paper be better going to lose to them. So it's like you can't really prep until those matches are done. And even still, you don't know how you're going to match up against a lot of these rosters. There's barely any data. Like, I think going into these matches, you're talking about teams that played a bit in the off-season. Well, I think it was Movistar KOI only played Sunset, which is not in the map pool. And I believe on the other side, they played Ascent and Sunset, which is also not in the map. So we've just had no data going into this. I think we've seen that throughout this series. A Fracture pick coming out of Liquid that didn't look the best. They then go on to Abyss, which was not their choice, and absolutely slaughtered Movistar KOI on it. And now we've ended in that supposed middle ground, but right now it's not looking like a middle ground at all. A really solid defensive side out from this squad. And sure, we expect like having that Teo, the defensive side aggression should be good, but I don't feel like I've really seen much from it. Like there's a lot of spots on this map where I go, okay, if you're going to use your utility to clear that, like it should be a lot easier, like lamps, like hookah, but I don't feel like that's been the case. Think about the hookah crossfire they had. He could have easily wrecked that with his utility.
Yeah, just wrong place.
Exactly.
Wrong time. Now, look, last round, Showstopper, Thrash, Orbital Strike, all these ults have been used so recently. A Team Liquid, look, they've used them for important rounds, but Movistar KOI saving over these weapons, it gives them a chance now to use their ults to equalize that economy or to at least pull it back down, because Team Liquid, they got 7K plus on every single player. They are set for almost the rest of this half. Movistar KOI can't afford to make many mistakes if they want to get back into this one. It starts with 3 ultimates. Do they want to use all 3 here? You might need them in the coming rounds. Lots of decisions to make. And it looks like the B site will be the target. A lurk left out late for Grabinho, but he can use his wall or his smokes from anywhere.
There's nobody spotted in towards B short.
Wall back site, looks like the pings.
I'm wondering if we're going to have the Armageddon put through. It seems to be the case.
Armageddon,
There's nobody there. It's clear, they know it, but they're playing in front of it, and I almost think that might just be a plan from the side of Liquid to put themselves in unorthodox positions, ones that you've got to gamble with. Speaking of gamble, it looks like Kamek's going to try and sneak out, but they're aware of it. Had support from Kamek, and even the flash going through, but Shados is still standing. And now it comes down to him versus Patitek on the other side. A new look initiator versus a tried and true of the past, a man of experience facing off against, well, another man of experience. But this round is so important for Movistar Koi. Shados looking to try and put it on his back. He even gets the timing correct, but doesn't swing off of it, goes back around. And in classic form, in a classic position, Shados will get them another.
Well, that is a much-needed round on the board for the side of Movistar Koi, and impressively, they do it, only burning up that one ultimate, which is quickly farmed most of the way back up. Shados now just needing 3 orbs, and we'll see it back up and online. Sulcus with the Viper's Pit could be pivotal, and the economy is starting to come down for Team Liquid. Investment into an operator, obviously going to run Camo's credits that little bit lower, but you can see they've still got plenty to fall back on. For Movistar Koi, no easy rounds ahead of them for quite a while. Let's see if they can make it work. Getting into position with this utility, Cosmic Divide, maybe that's where the pit comes in, and then they've got a real position to fight from.
Nats was trying to be cheeky, playing in front of it, but this whole idea is an execute to get them into the post plant, even sending the drone through to try and get as much information. They know that the players are there on the other side, and in fact, even waiting to try and catch them off the back of that TP.
Nats is in the pit. Nats is in the pit, and he's been caught. Okay. I just expected him to come out on top in that, but Sulcus is on a tear. Double kill already on the site. You've got to fight through that pit to win the round. It's time to think about saving. And as Kamek falls, there's no other choice for Kiko. Can he get out? Drop one as he goes? Looks like he certainly made himself the distance. It's his choice to stick around. There's plenty of credits still to burn up. He just wants to make it as costly as he can, maybe catch them all on the way out. There's one, there's two. Nicely done. And indeed, costly it becomes from a clean round. Kiko looking to make it even more costly. Sulcus almost lost his life too.
Yeah, when you've got that much money in your back pocket, it really doesn't matter if he goes down, and taking a couple of guns away, not going to be too bad, although there will still be purchases on the other side. I like that though, just a set execute off the back of the Cosmic Divide, making sure that that Viper's Pit can't really be disrupted. They were even watching the entire time for Nats. They had a pop flash in case he was on the edge. They had the boombot going through one way. They had the showers cleared by the drone. Like, that was just something that has clearly come from, well, the training ground when it comes to Movistar Koi. Clearly done the work behind the scenes. The problem though is, well, that comes from a very set circumstance of having 2 ultimates that can be used in that scenario. Those 2 ultimates are no longer available.
It's going to be a really interesting second half, Tom. It's 6-4. It's a close game. Liquid 6 rounds in a row. They lose 2, and they've called a timeout here. Keep in mind, Movistar Koi have already burned up both of their timeouts. At this point, second half, maximum 1 timeout. It's going to be a quick run through those last couple of rounds. Not as much time to touch base and figure out what went wrong. For Team Liquid, I do like how proactive they're being. Despite the big lead, losing just 2 rifle rounds, remember the other 2 they lost for the pistol in the opener, they're still getting in there early and saying, all right, let's make sure we course correct. We won an 8-4 half. The opponents have no pauses for the next. We can close this out nice and easy. Let's see if that's going to be the case.
I also like the look of what Movistar Koi have got going into the defense. So you've got 3 fairly proactive agents, and then the Viper Astra as your passive ones to sort of lock down sites. I think it could be quite a nice combination. So I think for Liquid, getting these last couple of defensive rounds is fairly important. After the start that they had, I think ending it out 6-6 would be fairly disappointing. Again, early information fought for, and Patitek has got to be a little careful here. The flash may not have garnered anything, but that was due to the deep smoke that was there, and while with his utility removed, doesn't have much of a choice but to fall back.
They're still not giving up that space for free. That spam almost dropped Filu. He's down to 42 HP now as a result. Patitek about to get a ton of information. Never seen a jiggle peek with the dog, but there you go. And they now notice a lot of players outside on long. The fight will take place on short as Team Liquid look to take back that space. There's just been a double back. Movistar Koi a little late getting to the angle. of Flash now primed and ready. Filu still lands both shots.
Okay.
Left down to 2 HP, and he will fall, and the showstopper will be cancelled out. Kamek looking to hold his ground, grabs another, and almost drops Solkas too. Neck and neck for a moment. But blink and you miss it. Nats is all alone. Snakebite's good, buys some more time. Not enough to stop them though. The plant will be found and the players retreat to safety. Now Nats, 1 kill needed for a Viper's Pit. Nobody wants to give him that. Might only be 2 and 6, but you give this man a chance. He'll put rounds on the board. The tap there, here comes the swing, and it's Grabinho to send it home. 6-5, Movistar Koi close the distance further. We could be neck and neck at halftime.
That's the sort of level that you expect to see from a superstar duelist. Low HP already from the initial spam, dodges the flash and takes 2 heads with him. That's the Filu that we know and love. That's the guy we saw across both previous maps.
Oh yes, he's got the style as well.
Yes. Okay.
Giving it.
Wow. After what was a 6-2 scoreline. Movistar Koi are starting to drag this one back now. The classic sort of A short Viper's Pit, an aggressive take. Both initiators fighting. They've got to be careful here, and actually they've lost both fights. Immediate double entry. This leaves Kiko alone within the B site. Camo is running as fast as he can, but he can't get into support with the ultimate currently blocking. In fact, he tries! He tries to go through it, gets wrecked for it. Luckily, you still got Kiko there, who's been an absolute superstar, trying to do everything on his own, even spotting out the remaining couple, but they're going to peek it before his ult can go through. Nats is there with 1 more. And that res is not going to be coming. It's down to the 1v1. This time, Nats with a better chance. Spike down, knowing roughly where his opponent should be, and still trying to reposition.
Nats is crazy. He's going to go all the way around the world on this play, knowing the spike is in the open. Chances are there for Grabinho to do the same, to come to meet him. That's what Nats is waiting for. And he goes back into Hookah, and around to watch this spike, confident now that the flank's not in play. Grabinho will sneak out though, will grab the spike. 25 seconds left. No notion of where this player is. Oh, and blindsided, but barely alive. The metal in the way. A little bit of armor that he needed. 12 seconds. Nats waiting for the plant to be attempted. Waiting for the push up close, but Grabinho will just plant on backside as safe as he can. 30 HP is not a lot to work with. The fake smoke. Maybe he could be going back into the spawn. Nats has to split his direction both ways. 6 bullets left. But with such low HP, it might not matter. It depends on the timing, and it's Grabinho! Straight onto the head of Nats. No margin for error, and nothing but perfection delivered. 6-6 at the half.
Yeah, we found ourselves on middle ground, just maybe not in the manner we expected. Still, 1 more half left to come. We'll see you after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, folks. 6-6. Thankfully, it's not like Abyss. We don't have to pretend it was a close half. It really was. Looks like a bounce back from Movistar Koi, and certainly towards the end of that half, it was 4 rounds in a row to put them neck and neck. They won the first 2, but then it was a streak from Team Liquid, and they were looking unstoppable. Now, we move over to Movistar Koi's defensive side, where they're going to be put to the test. Excited to see what the ideas are from Shados on Tejo for this half.
Yeah, for sure. And as said, I think building into this one, you have that Grubinho, Soulcast, like site anchor potential, and then the other 3 players can be more aggressive, can try and do these set defensive plays. For now, though, they've already taken a fair bit of control over towards the showers, and a reliance on Soulcast to try and hold here as the majority of players are in his spot.
Soulcast pushed back behind the wall. I mean, some damage was done, but the reset after decay will leave most healthy and ready to fight. Plant already found. An aggressive push up towards Bath. They've seen Nats already. They know there's players on both sides. They've got the manpower to deal with it as well. If you were just one here, you'd be a little overwhelmed. The flank coming in late from Grubinho. It is a very weird pace to the round. I think Nats will be blindsided by that and just taken down. With the control still over Bath, a good spot if they could get past Kamek. Huge shutdown, deleting the Bath players, and sure, Nats will fall, but now time is the issue. They don't know where these players are. No utility left, though. It has to be just the dry peaks, and Kiko wins it. Now, surely the timer gone too far with no chance for Grubinho. It seems Team Liquid have done enough to take the lead back.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds again where you look at the amount of damage that was actually done onto the Liquid players, and you feel like it could have gone either way, but they do. They just leave Nats behind in the back lines, and then it was the battle of the flankers, but all of that time just was on the spike. Like, you can't be that slow dealing with everything else, and I feel like that was sort of put into place by the Liquid players and their strategy. Again, some solid individual presence shown by Kiko and Kamek. I feel like we really have seen a lights-out performance from Kiko throughout this series so far. I feel like that could be a pivotal part if they're going to do things on the attack. For now, the defense have all gone running about. That was a nasty surprise for Kamek, and holding on to this might not be too easy. Shados with another. They're already making this one costly.
Yeah, but Shados is trapped now. Walking back out of those doors will be a death sentence, you'd imagine. Soulcast and Feel, other side of the map. They can just simply walkabouts into the site, grab that plant. I don't think there's much left behind.
I thought they were trying to be really like quiet that they got the spike, and then Nats just reloads outside the door. So he's like, yep, they're still here.
He does, yeah. I mean, they're making noise on the way to the A site. The dog went through, the spam went through, but Nats is still watching the back, trying to bait these players into making their way out. But the drone will spot him. Pre-fire onto it, has caught it. Not too much information to work with. Everyone else resetting to take these fights. I like that setup. Sure, Patitek does go down. Nice shots from Soulcast, but Nats is immediately able to trade. And now you're left as Filu, the last man alive, avoiding the snake bite, but walking straight into Kiko. That'll be the round done. Team Liquid, 2 players surviving, 8-6, a 2-round lead.
Yeah, it's a costly one. You only, I think, had Nats, who was down on a pistol at one point, and because of that, there's definitely going to be pieces missing going into the next round. Yeah, just impressive shots to at least do some damage in this sort of position for Movistar Koi. So I don't think they can be too unhappy with that. They do have to be careful, though. And I'm quite liking the fact that knowing that Nats has been going for the sniper so regularly, we have the majority of players investing into those heavier shields. Makes him at least a little bit less deadly, although it really is a little bit. I think he's actually been better on attack side the majority of this game so far, which is really weird.
I mean, you have to say, Nats plays the game in just a beautiful way. You could say that since 2020, but picking up the outlaw in so many of these rounds, it's different, and it works. It has worked before. Let's see if it does this time with all those extra shields in play. Although it doesn't help Flya much, Grubinho falls quite quickly. Now we're in a bit of danger with players all over the site. Shados didn't know where to look. He's lost his life. The spike's planted. Rifles now retrieved as the upgrades come in. And for Movistar Koi, man disadvantage. And next to nothing to play with. A decent spam does damage to Nats. Kiko is low and quickly dispatched. Filu comes to save the day. Kamek now has to do it all. Won't get his ult online without both kills, at which point, round's already in the bag. It's been close so far, and a 1v2 definitely within this player's wheelhouse. They've just heard him step down. They know where he is. Moving in together, off angle by Kamek, and the spray doesn't land. It's Filu's third of the round. As Movistar KOI just about keep that gap close.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those rounds where you kind of wonder how it was as close as it was. You not only had, I think it was initial kill, a spam that put Patitek down to 1 HP within like literally a second. That was this from Flyer. But somehow they still come out of this fairly even. It was impressive that this round was even close from that point onwards, but a good response from Filu. And again, I think he started this game off incredibly slow individually, but now starting to climb back into the game. All right, 8-7 from a 6-2 position and another pistol under their belt. It's not looking the best for Liquid at this stage.
I think that's fair to say, but that last round comes so close. The only real investment on Nats, he's on an outlaw again this round with lots of players. Everyone, in fact, one hit to him. He's got a 2-barrel operator essentially in play. A chance onto Solkas to start it out. Not even the wall was enough to protect him. The shot on Shados is perfect. And after a close previous round, this one doesn't seem to have the same flavor to it. Movistar KOI have sent Filu in the other direction. You're right, Tom. The round's done. They've called for the save.
But that's the thing. You look at this scenario where Kiko's one off ult, you've got Kamek already with the Thrash online. Like, you're just going to either feed their ultimates or you're going to be met with one. It's just not a winnable scenario. And that is the frustration of playing up against Nats when he does this. Because, yeah, if you don't have the heavy shields, even if you do and you take like a slight nick of damage, it's just an instant kill. He's not missing those shots, like, I'd say 9 times out of 10. And when you lose your Viper, the player that you kind of need to stay alive on that A site, it's over.
It's also right there. You've got a Viper orb. You try to walk up on a guy full shields who has an outlaw, and the Viper, or the Viper wall rather, comes into play. You know, you go through that, take a quick peek. Are they there? You've lost your life immediately. You're definitely losing 10 HP from the decay. But this guy's ability to just step up and take that aggressive peek, dropping Solkas, opening the space then for the blast pack up top from Camo.
I love the idea as well that
it's
he
hard
goes
to fight.
Like, what's your strat for this round? My strat is me. It's just like, I'm gonna kill someone with a sniper rifle. It's like, you don't want to let Camo, you know, no one, no.
But I mean, he's just taking the free shot. Like, Solkas had the orb there, didn't put it up because he's waiting to spot someone, and you know, with that weapon, you have a pretty good chance of firing back on him when he's shit peeking him like that.
Well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, where else is he going to peek it from? Not through your wall. Or if he does, he'll take the free kill. So it's not a bad idea. It's just Nats thinking, you're giving me a chance? I'll take it. Yeah. That's what he does every single time. Usually with getting behind you. This time it's the outlaw. We've seen both facets of his gameplay here. I think a nice, refreshing style. Seeing his IGLing on the server, seeing this face of Team Liquid. I'm liking what they're bringing to the table so far. A gap of 2 rounds, and if they take this one, Tom, credits running very dry for Movistar KOI. It could be the beginning of the end.
Straight out. The Thrash alongside the Tiger. I think it's being held in place, though. A good use of the grab wall to make sure they can't get too much information. Orbital strike thrown in, but even still, the opening kill has gone the way of the defenders. That's messy.
What?
I feel like Gravino definitely should have got the kill onto Nats there, but he hasn't. Failed miserably, and now they get into the post plant. Showstopper, no command available. They had everything to play with, even denying some of the heals that would have gone in onto Nats.
Showstopper on Filu. This could be everything, but the players perfectly avoiding and walking into Solkas and taking him down. Team Liquid immediately on that defuse, tap, swing all their forces through and leave it down to just one. Filu, he's been good for these clutches on the site again and again, but finally a stop is put to it. It's Patitek to claim double digits for Team Liquid. And at this point, Tom, like we said, the credits for Movistar KOI, they are waning. This is a really tough position to be in. That was a round they needed.
Yeah, it's a tough one as well, because a lot of ultimates being utilized to make it more awkward, but this was just painful. I feel like that should have been Nats dead, and then from then onwards you sort of see these wraparounds doing well to sort of claim the space, because when you had the showstopper and the player defusing, there's a world where you just rush, you basically panic, and instead it only gets to half, and they're able to get back in the end and close out the round. 10-7, 3 away from... This was a match where... I was going to say there's definitely been opportunities. That from Flyer was impressive. In fact, it's going to continue. Chemical's walking back into the same fight, alone with the spike. Well, now for the remaining 2, this is troublesome.
Well, Nats is coming back with the Outlaw, and everyone's one hit to him. Still a chance, still a beating heart to this round for the side of Team Liquid, and Movistar Koi can't allow him the opportunities. But after 1 kill, he's left alone. An ace needed. Blocked out by that utility. Pistols coming close, 40 HP indeed. So although he has with him a weapon that can one-shot them, those Sheriffs will be keen to do just the same in return. 6 shots instead of 2. Let's see if Nats can make this one work, and what would be by far my favorite Outlaw clutch, Outlaw ace, or any of the above.
30 seconds
30
left.
seconds on the clock, and a swing into heavy traffic backwards is going to send him to the Shadow Realm. 10-8 on the board, and a pay safe card thrifty for Movistar Koi, just in time as well.
Yeah, no better time to do it. Your IGL just walks down mid and pops 2 players. It really is one. I think Patitek must have been in the dog there, because he just doesn't even react. Like the player next to him tries to cover the angle, but that walk-up was just not spotted in time, and Movistar Koi have been able to massively capitalize, and I don't think there's too much of a surprise that that's the moment that Lohan decides, you know, I think we need a pause. We've just lost a round to Flyer pushing mid with the Sheriff. I think I need to talk about that one.
Well, that is all 4 timeouts used, these teams being tested and pushed to the limit. After their final discussion with the coaches, it's going to be a hot streak to close out this game. And at 10-8, Team Liquid, no doubt they need those resolutions, but it's been 2 rounds, then 1 bought back. This one on the back of a player walking down mid and just catching you completely unaware. It's a blind side. You won't have those in every single round. And I think Team Liquid don't need to panic just yet. They've got that little bit of a buffer in the form of their lead. But the credits now starting to take shape in a different form. Last half, it was all about Team Liquid, 7K on 5 players, looking in great spirits as they came towards the end of the game. And even as they, or half I should say, even as they lost rounds, they still had money to buy back. This time, it's not quite the same. If Team Liquid lose this 1 round, you could see Movistar Koi face an eco, equalize the scoreline, and then without any pauses, all the pressure's on that IGL. It's going to be a tough close to the game for Nats in terms of the pressure experienced, but a good position to start from. Economy is there, and ult economy online for Team Liquid. Camo to entry with that showstopper. Viper's Pit 1 away.
But that's the thing, yeah. Seekers to potentially give up the information for the showstopper to find a get. Like, they should have everything on a plate for them here, but it's always seemed easier said than done. Seems like the orb has already been claimed as well, so that is the Viper's Pit. Great flash though, or he doesn't get the second. Flyer set him up for a double, and instead, like, you kind of traded out your Viper. I don't think that was worth.
First flash also came a little early while Sokus was still reloading, so that's both KO flashes burned up early on. The 1-to-1 trade, losing your Viper, might not be what Movistar Koi would find ideal. A push up, and it's perfectly timed. That was Camo popping the ultimate, the showstopper to entry. Denied, but the flank from Kiko. The second man, not expected. Not locking down the control for too long as it's kept into a 2v2. Viper's Pick goes up just in time to block Patitek. He'll creep up close now towards this spawn as Shados needs to fight his way back through. They know he's here and they are just waiting, beckoning him forward. He spams so much that finally he walks in and meets his doom. It's left to Grabinho. The dog on its way already, spotting him. He can actually tap this from just outside, I believe. Reposition is perfect, but they're looking the right way. Well aware of what was going down. Team Liquid with another on the board.
It's a close one. Again, you had this initial flash. It was perfect. Like, both players completely blind, but couldn't quite correct on the second. This was everything, though. Like, the round is over. If they don't manage to clear Hookah from there, you mentioned sort of the spams, but even still, it would have been the 2 players just completely surrounded in the pit with the spike planted in a tough spot to defend. But those couple of kills from Kiko, he has been genuinely phenomenal. 21 and 11 currently playing the Brimstone, doing Brimmy fans proud. And while taking Liquid now to an 11th round, it was a little bit tougher to get there than maybe expected after that pistol victory. But now we look, economy on the brink, but again, Filu started off well.
Yeah, he's been doing remarkable in terms of those opening picks, those clutches on the B side as well, putting up those multi-kills. Movistar KOI have now the advantage to play with. In comes the spike, looking to be planted on site. Lots of backup to cover it. Nade doesn't quite land. In fact, it's a little precarious of a position for Flyu, who goes down, but Shados with a masterful trade. He's kept this one alive for the side of Movistar KOI. Despite a couple of quick kills back in return, you've still got Filu, excuse me, and Grabinho. And with the spike down, time is ticking. Grabinho will reposition, blocking off their rotation, their likely rotation to the teleporter. In fact, both are walking back. They have absolutely no idea this man's here, but he only gets the one, leaving Patitek on 33 HP. Faked that he was running to the teleporter, but that sound is not heard.
Yeah.
Filu knows that he's still here. There's no notion in his head about rotating. Nade's still online, 20 seconds left, and Patitek is just waiting for Filu to step forward, but Filu doesn't have any pressure on him. The clock is ticking, and it's against Patitek. 12 seconds as he takes that teleporter. Filu goes as fast as he can. I don't think he had a blast pack left. He'll get here a little bit too late to deny by the looks of things. The nade will be fired out. It bounces back. It's going to do damage, but not quite enough. The shot lands, though. And Movistar KOI, they'll close the distance just a little and stop Team Liquid from running away with this.
These rounds have been crazy. Like, every single time it seems like a team gets an advantage, just an individual steps up that completely turns it around. And on this round, I don't think there was any doubt that that was Shados at the back of the site, sending the ult through to clear certain positions, but also giving himself a chance to land a high impact double. Even still, it came down to incredibly close margins, but Filu, as mentioned, I think there was a point where he was like 5 and 10 or something like that, but he has really stepped up in this second half. Been one of the catalysts of the comeback. The problem, though, is that Movistar KOI have not been able to string more than a round together in the second half. There has always been a response, and well, that's what Liquid are looking for here.
It's going to be a little more difficult than some of the previous rounds, though. Sure, Flya not going to have the weaponry, but he's just spotting out the hookah push, playing with that stinger, and playing with his utility for some of his teammates. Solkis, though, might not need those flashes, has immediately put down the Viper's Pit. Is going to cover off B long, and with those two players, they know that they've got all the control they need. The only real problem is that although the push is going to come towards A, Stealth Drone has already cleared out outside of bathroom. There's no one there. They know that for a fact, and I thought that might have seen rotations come through, but no. Playing outside of Lamps to avoid that ultimate. Filu goes through for just the one. Grabinho has to step out, but the smokes are there to give him the cover.
Spike planted.
A Liquid the post long. It's for the most part what they desired. Keeping things even. I'm looking at Cosmic Divide as potential. Patitek. Oh, he's dead. Can't quite clear the fragment. And if he had, we'd be looking at Flyer as a mistake. Instead, he gets himself a second with the stinger, a third one as well. He's brought that one over from North America. We spoke about it before, the stinger in the hands of Narrate last year and Rolf Kamek. There's nothing he can do here. Just has to try and fall off of it. I don't know how he's managed that level of impact with that gun. Maybe blindly bound left click and right click to the same button.
Oh, it could be. Yeah. That's probably what it was. They tried the just block it does strategy, but with his bullets. See, that's not how it works. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I did say this was one of the weaknesses. Misspoke. Clearly, this was the all-in strat,
yeah.
the real strength of the composition. Yeah.
He was trying to save this for their next game. He was like, guys, I guess I'm going to have to pull out the stinger.
Gotta hide the stinger strats.
He didn't even zoom in, though, so it definitely wasn't the
that's a shame.
Bind.
That's a shame. He would have gotten all 5 if he had that.
Yeah.
Well, showstopper online for Filu if things get a little hairy, but Team Liquid on the attack have a lot of weaknesses. 3 pistols brought to bear. The Sheriffs will look to take some heads, while the Rifles look to clean up. For Movistar KOI, this is their chance to equalize.
Kiko, though, again, this time taking up the role of the duelist. He's been given a rifle for a reason. He only had the opportunity for a couple of them, but this man's hands had to be holding one. He's been so strong. And looks to do more. Kamik will fall. A trade back of sorts and still an abundance of utility for Shados to try and clear this site. There are so many players up close that his util could be everything.
Oh, they've cleared out these players, spammed Patitek as he moved out of position of the guided salvo, but unfortunately, they haven't found the kill, and as a result, Patitek's there to take the hit off the showstopper. The follow-up from Kiko with all 5 under his belt, taken from the top side, and putting them on top marks 12-10. 2 chances to close this out for Team Liquid.
27 of 13, by the way. Like, he had some crazy performances on the Jet, but he might be getting close to some sort of new record, because this is so impressive on an individual level. It just looks like he's so comfortable.
You know what I love about Kiko? The old Angel strat used to be, you put all your smokes down and then you run in. Here he pops 1 smoke and goes, that'll do. That'll do, I'm in. It's just incredible, but he's got the individual skill to match. I like this. The smoke up close, 3 players creeping in from Movistar Koi, but it's expected, and Camo delivers 2 blind fire and almost takes Filu with him.
This is not what you wanted to see if you're a Movistar Koi fan. They have fought valiantly throughout this series, proven that they can go toe-to-toe with Liquid. Maybe answered some of the questions you had about individual players on this team, but if it sends you to the lower bracket, it sends you to the lower bracket. The manner in which it happens doesn't matter too much. They would be 1 defeat away from dropping out of Kickoff. With 5 players, Filu low, he's proven he can still hit shots, but not in this one. It's now left onto the IGL, maybe hoping he can get something before they retreat. Solcas with everything to do versus his former team.
Nice snake bite. They're going to be vulnerable, dropping down into it. It's a mistake. They've fallen into his trap, and that gives a chance. Flya, he did it with a stinger, now with a rifle in hand, and quickly repositioning as well. They might not expect him to be all the way around. The molly blocks that pathway, but are they suspicious of the wraparound? Yes, they are. It's Kiko holding it, swinging in to close out the map. Team Liquid debut in 2025 looks good as they take it 2-1.
Definitely after that first map, you could see that there was some depth not only in the individual skill, but also in those role swaps. I think that's what's most excited me about this match, because I looked at it going, okay, you had Kiko already, you brought in Camo, he has to be playing duelist, excluding map 1, which we don't want to talk about, but the fact is he may even look better on controller, which is a ridiculous thing to say out loud with how good this guy has been in the past, but that was massively impressive. Ended 28-13, 3-1-4 ACS. You really can't complain about that one.
No, I don't think there's going to be many complaints written in any form. This man has been delivering, and with the role swap as well, it just makes it so much more impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of what we saw here today, there were questions around Team Liquid, around even Nats, the role that he plays doesn't typically go hand in hand with an IGL. We've seen players swap off that role to be more with the pack. We've seen players adjust their approach to the game to be more with the pack, but he's come in with his own style, and it's certainly worked out for their opening game.
Yeah, I am excited to see more of Movistar Koi, though. As said, I think a lot of people coming into this season didn't maybe have the highest of expectations, but it's clear that, especially the coaching staff, been coming up with a lot of unique ideas, especially with how new Teo is to the pool. We weren't sure if many teams were going to risk it. They did on 2 of the maps. One of the times it worked very well, and I think on this map, it looked decent. There's definitely more to maybe flesh out here and there, but it's clear that fundamentally there was a lot of good things coming in for Movistar Koi, and I think whoever faces up against them next in that elimination game has got to do their homework, has got to do their prep, even on the small amount of data that they have.
Well, I have to say, the 2 13-10s we had were definitely fun matches to cast, fun matches to watch, and a lot to look back on. The 13-3,
didn't enjoy it as much.
I'm not sure teams will be picking Abyss against Team Liquid for the rest of this, at least for Kickoff.
Well, either way, a man who has been on this stage a few times before, but more importantly, now has himself a team. I'm happy to see Patitek back on the stage.
Woo!
And you wouldn't be the only one, Tom. Of course, I'm now joined by Patitek from Team Liquid. Welcome back, by the way.
Hello.
It's so good to see you. Now, I think in the off-season, as you will know, you've accumulated a lot of fans throughout your career. And I think particularly after last year, people just wanted to see you on a team. None of that standing on a main roster. And here you are with Team Liquid. So I wanted to ask you, what was it about this project that drew you into coming into this team and wanting to be with Team Liquid?
I think main reason was that we have a team like full of prodigies actually, and a great coaching staff. So for me, it was actually no-brainer to take this team. You know, like the coaching staff, like the players itself, they're just amazing. You know, and I kind of see the resemblance from Team Heretics. So you know, that's why I chose it.
And what would you think that you brought to this team from your time at Team Heretics?
I think mainly experience. I think like playing Masters tournament, like basically international tournaments give like a lot of experience. So I think mainly that, and confidence. Confidence for my boss that they can rely on me and that they know that I'm there for them and they also for me.
I'm glad you mentioned those two words because when it comes to the in-game stuff, you know, there's a lot of role changes, a lot of surprises, but it feels like you and Nats, you've kind of stuck to the bread and butter, the agents that you played for many, many years, a lot of times on the server, and it feels like maybe you're kind of the anchors for this team. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that is fair to say.
Is that intentional as well? Is that something that you guys got together and felt like everyone else can change and maybe play new things, but we're just going to do what we know?
It's not really that. I mean, it's about coaching stuff, cooking up some comps, you know? Like, whatever they will tell me to play, I will play. Same for IAS, you know? We obviously have our comfort picks, but whatever they cook up, we believe it in it 100%. And, yeah, it's just that.
Must be happy that you get told that you get to play the KO, right?
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like,
hell yeah.
You can just play KO.
Hell yeah.
yeah. And speaking of some cooking, you've got, what, 3 people that could play Duelist on your team, right?
Yes.
I mean, you could rip out the Phoenix if we really need you to.
Maybe.
So why no Duelist on that first map?
Basically, we were just playing Fracture and the Scrims was going pretty well. And in my book, that's a win. We kind of choked, so like it was our first game on stage. Kind of nervous for everyone, but as soon as the first map ended, we fully resetted and you saw what happened on Abyss.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. So would you say that there's nothing to worry about when it comes to the comp? That's not the reason why you lost that map?
No, 100% is not the comp. It's the way we played it and like the communication and basically like the gameplay stuff. It's not about the comp, it's about us.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Now next, you're going to be facing Foot. You played against them a few times last year. It was always very successful for you. I feel like you know what to do against them. What do you make about playing them this time around?
I think they are an insanely strong team, especially after they swapped the duelist. I think Zeus is insane. And with the addition of him, they're going to become a really great team. But as always, I played them so many times. I know what to do against them. So we'll see. I'm in a good shape, and I'm thinking it's going to be a good game.
You know what to do. And lastly, before I let you go, I have to mention, I've seen it on social media, this whole Polish players on a team, you know, you don't want to have more than 2. I want to get your thought on this, because I feel like you've just proved them wrong.
I mean, everyone says that we broke the rule, because there's a rule that 2 maximum Polish players on the roster. We are the prime example that you can break the rule and be successful. I mean, not maybe successful, it's only 1 game, right? But we're gonna prove the haters wrong, obviously.
Damn right, guys. One more time for Patitek. One more time. All right, that is the first game done. We're gonna take a little break, but don't go anywhere because look behind me, Fluorescent is in the building. We'll see you after this.
Red Bull gives you wings.